My story is that I grew up in a Christian home. I always knew God, always walked with God, always loved God, but never knew the depth of relationship that I could have with God that I know now. We grew up about an hour out of Sydney. I got married quite young, and after a couple of years I had my own business. It was based in North Sydney. Bought a home, and we had the 3 boys, and things were quite normal. About 10 years or so had gone by, and life had just proceeded. The children were growing and life was busy. We got to a point in our life where we went through a very, very difficult season. We had a few years where things became very tough, and it had got to a point where I was really very tired and very worn out. A lot of the things that we had to deal with were just a constant fight and a constant battle, and I became very stressed, and because I was stressed all the time, I was unhappy and I was angry a lot of the time, and it was a very difficult and dark place in my life. I got to the point where I really didn't know how I could go on like that anymore. At the same time, I was just reading a book, and part of the story, the girl was going off to spend 3 months doing nothing but meditating day and night. Reading this book, I began to realize, why can't I do this? Why can't I just meditate on God? It doesn't have to be about mantras and chakras and emptying your mind or any of that side of it, but why can't I just sit and wait on God? And so I decided that's what I was going to do. And so that's what I did. I got up the next morning and I went into my walk-in wardrobe, which was the only peaceful place in my house when you have 3 boys. And I just sat down on the floor, and I didn't do all the talking and the praying and please God help me with this, or tell him all the issues and things I was worried about. Instead, I just sat there and I just invited the Holy Spirit to come. I think I closed my eyes and just put my hands out to him and opened my heart to him, and I just waited in the stillness. And I just had the most incredible encounter with God that morning. I literally just felt his presence and his peace come all over me, and I felt like it was just like rain from heaven just washing over my soul. And as it sort of came down over me, I just felt like the stress and the anger and the years of fighting and the turmoil dissipating and just washing out of my system. And it was just the most incredible experience with God, and I've had encounters with God before in my life, but just nothing like this incredibly deep encounter I had that morning. And initially I was just looking for some peace. I was just looking for an answer to all the stress, and what turned out to be just the most amazing ongoing encounter with God that just totally transformed every part of my life, because I was a Christian and I felt like I should have had peace, I should have had joy, and yet that's not what my life looked like. I was very stressed and worn out by life. I learned how to just let go of all the stuff that was worrying me and that I was anxious and stressed about, and just allowing his peace to just come and fill my spirit. And it just got me through each day. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I started to write a blog just to share that with others. I wanted others to be able to experience what I have. It's just the most incredible way of being able to connect deeply, intimately, powerfully with God. And I just want to share that experience with others.